Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another HD broadcast, and I'm bringing you guys another set of games here from the Mapmaker tournament here at IPL. I know that a lot of you guys wanted to see some of these games that may not have seen it on our daily broadcast, and I'm really excited to bring these games to you guys because they feature some of the new maps in Starcraft 2, which aren't exactly official yet. They're just kind of new maps for IPL. And I did cast a couple of games from this tournament already. I think I casted a game with Saladin, which we have again showing up right here, and I casted a game with darn, who was it? I know I casted a game with Ver, so a couple of games already that I broadcasted, but this is going to be another great set, I hope. And we've got Saladin here as the blue Protoss, and his opponent is going to be LoveTomomo, who will be the orange Zerg. Down in the bottom right, who has actually opened up with a 7 pool here, it looks like. No, it's actually a 6 pool. So Tomomo is going with a 6 pool this game. This is certainly going to be an interesting start to this. And we'll see how this game cooks up, because Saladin is running in here with his probe, and he will see the 6 pull. And immediately, what is going to be Saladin's reaction to this? He tried to go for a Forge Fast Expand. Now, he's kind of got to go with this pylon now, because the pylon's already down at the front. So let's see if he tries to wall this off or not. He's got to get a Forge down right now, and exactly that's what he's going to do. And he may just end up throwing a pylon in the back and a cannon and kind of sacrificing the front door. So that may be his strategy here, but certainly an interesting way to start things off on this new map. By the way, guys, this map is called, I believe, Zakudoris Rift. And let's talk a little bit about that while the Zerglings are kind of on their way over to the Protoss main. IPL, of course, doing all these new tournaments, very, very cool. They have a whole bunch of new maps, and if you guys want to go ahead and check out IPL and show some support for them, you guys can find them at www.ign.com/IPL, and you guys can find them on Justin TV, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at IGN Pro League as well. You guys can find more cool content like this. So, yeah, here we go. Some Zerglings running into the main here, and I don't think Saladin's going to be prepared. He's got a cannon coming up right now, so he's going to go ahead and run all of his probes into the mineral field. Nice spread on the probes, using that mineral walk technique to fight against the Zerglings. Of course, trying to protect that cannon is his major priority right now, and he will keep the cannon alive. So the cannon goes up, but as a result, he will have to sacrifice the forge and the pylon at the front door. But that's okay, because, you know what, Saladin's got 16 probes, 17 probes compared to 10 drones. And even though he lost a couple, nothing he can't, nothing he's going to even sweat about, because he's already ahead in economy. And let's see what LoveTomomo's transition from this is going to be. Is he going to expand? Yes, he will. So he's going to try to macro his way out of this. And, a lot of people say 7 pull is one of those builds you just don't macro out of. So we'll see if Tomomo can prove people wrong or not, because it's a tough situation to be in when you're already behind, almost 50% in terms of harvesters at only 4 minutes and 30 seconds into the game. Although he may have access to the cybernetics core over here, because the cannon may not be, it's not in range to protect the core. Saladin actually should have thrown the core up here or something, and now the core could go down. He's running probes off the mineral line. He loses one. So, good for Tomomo right now, because any damage he can do is going to help in a major way. He's behind in economy, he's behind in tech as well. So if he can destroy the cybernetics core, that would be a huge buff for him. But it looks like the Zealot comes out of the gateway, which was being chrono boosted, and along with the probes will drive the Zerglings away. So nice defense right there from Saladin, but I just think it's really funny how this, it's a new map. It's players that we haven't really seen before. They're both, top masters, or at least grandmasters, I think. But starting the game off with a lot of aggression, LoveTomomo is. And it almost seems to me like Tomomo just doesn't want to do the map. He doesn't want to deal with it at all. He just wants to kind of buck Zerglings and go with whatever he wants and try to end the game and dictate the pace of the game in his own way. Which I really do agree with. If you're not familiar with the map, and hey, if you just want to kill off your opponent, why not? Just go for it. And it's certainly a great way to start things off here. Now we'll have to see what he does to transition out of this, because he's got quite a few Zerglings now. I think he made those Zerglings because of the Stalker and the Zealot in the middle of the field. And he will get the surround on the Zealot against the bush here, against the tree or whatever it is, and he kills it off. So backs the Zealot into the corner of the wall. Now the Stalkers are on the way, but the thing here is Stalkers and Zerglings in the early game, without any speed buffs, do have the exact same move speed. They have 2.95 move speed apiece. So Stalkers can actually kite Zerglings for a very, very long time, and that's what we're seeing Saladin do right here. Just trying to, you know, kill off as many Zerglings as he possibly can to help him out in the mid game. Another Zergling goes down. Another Zergling goes down. Good control from Saladin. And it looks like Tomomo lost almost half of his Zerglings there, and he's going to have to fall back. In fact, he's producing a lot of Zerglings. Wow. What is Tomomo planning to do here? Because I thought he would try to catch up in drones, but he may actually go for a frontal bust because speed is about to finish here, guys. And he's got to keep his overlords alive, first of all, and he's going to do that. But what the? How does this Stalker see that overlord? That's... Oh, the Xel'Naga Tower just barely granting vision. He needs to actually run this to the south. But now he's going to lose control of the tower, so the overlord will stay alive. Nice control right there. And now the front door in trouble because Saladin doesn't have any forces here. The one sentry he had goes down. He really needed to keep the sentry at the back. And oh no, there's a leak on the right side of the wall as well. Saladin in a lot of trouble here. Zerglings finding themselves into the back here. This is terrible for Saladin. Saladin desperately warping in more sentries. And if he can keep all of his sentries alive, good force field. If he can keep the more sentries he keeps alive, the better chance he has of holding this off. He's now emergency warping in additional buildings behind the frontal buildings. One warp gate will go down here, but a force field comes down as well to prevent the Zerglings from leaking in. Actually, the warp gate still has 4 HP, but it will go down. And one Zergling made its way in for a scout, but it looks like Saladin just barely holding that off. Good crisis management skills right there to hold that off, because that was a pretty crucial moment. Those Zerglings certainly could have leaked in and done a lot of damage, but it's not over yet. Saladin's still on the back foot here, warps in a force field, but the Zerglings leak in once again. This is terrible for Saladin, who's now at, well, he's only had 4 workers killed, so he lost 1 more. But during that entire little crusade of Zerglings, if you will, Tomomo was droning up, so we can see now he's caught up in economy, almost caught up, and he also went for a 3rd hatchery as well. So that's really the name of the game for a Zerg player. If you're not gonna play the standard passive, you know, lock the doors, close it down, and macro, and then bust them open later in the game, then you've really kind of got to drone up while you're aggressive, and that's what Tomomo did. So smart thinking right there from him. I don't know if he got himself back into this game quite yet, because he's still tied up in supply, and that's not good for Zerg. You really got to be ahead in supply, but at the very least he did catch up in drones. So we'll see how that translates into the rest of this game. But Tomomo certainly doing what he needed to give himself a shot. Now we do have a lot of warp gates at the front, so Saladin may have a big push on his hands here because he's got 4 warp gates now, adding on a Twilight Council too, so maybe he's going to wait for a little bit more tech, and we'll see if that's for Dark Templars or if it's for Charge or Blink. Oh no, the Zerglings once again finding an opening. This hole is like Swiss cheese here. He's got to fill up the plugs and plug the holes, actually, is what he needs to do, because the more holes he leaves in this little front wall, the less likely he can push out. I mean, essentially, unless he fills everything up, the Zerglings will just be harassing him all day long. And so Saladin's got to fix this little... He's still got a hole here, so I don't know what he's doing. Actually now hallucinating a phoenix, so he's actually a little bit in the dark. He needs to figure out what the Zerg is doing before he can kind of know what he wants to do. And that's smart. You know, he doesn't know if Tomomo has grabbed the 3rd or not. He really needs to figure out how much economy Tomomo's got. Which, right now, Tomomo actually going to go for Roaches and Hydras, which I do like against this army. No Colossus yet. Of course, Roaches and Hydras just rip through everything until Colossus hit the field. The Phoenix trying to be a real Phoenix here, but unfortunately it doesn't do damage. And it will go down. I don't think it saw the hatchery, so Saladin's still pretty much in the dark as to how much Tomomo is macroing. And now another Phoenix comes out, and it looks like its trajectory is headed right into that 3rd. So he will find out exactly what the Zerg is up to as he's chrono boosting +1 weapons. And we may have a timing push on our hands here, guys, as Saladin forces his way out with sentries and stalkers. But I don't know if this is very safe for him to do, because there's going to be a lot of Roaches and Hydras hitting the field pretty soon here. And Hydras, unfortunately for Protoss, kind of destroy everything. Their little needle spines, while they don't sound that painful, they're quite dangerous and deadly. And Saladin, I don't know if he wants to push out right now, but he does have +1 weapons, and he is making a proxy pylon here. He's actually going to break down the rocks into the third. And at the same time, no! Zerglings once again finding themselves into the natural. So we can see once again the hole just made out of Swiss cheese. What is he doing? He needs to fix this up right now, and he's going to lose so many workers. He actually may end up losing the Nexus. Yeah, that Nexus is probably going to go down. At the same time, though, I guess Saladin's just going to go eye for an eye here. Here on Zakuldarus Rift. The drone's trying to run away. The force field's going down. Beautiful force fields, but the drones burrow. The drones have burrowed underground. It looks like Burrow was researched and could not have a better upgrade at the right time right there for LoveTomomo. So he saves most of his drones, which is huge, but he does lose the hatchery, but it's okay because he sniped off Saladin's Nexus, and I think sniping off the Protoss Nexus there at the natural, much more devastating of a loss than losing his third. And the reason why? Because Saladin is now only on one base, which is dwindling in resources. He's actually going to push across here, and this may be overextending themselves because the drones can unburrow, and that's exactly what they do. All the sentries are going to go down because of the drones blocking their paths. So all the sentries go down, a huge loss right there, although Tomomo is also going to lose most of his drones as well. So Saladin coming out of there not with an entire loss. And actually a raging battle over here between the natural and the third for LoveTomomo. But it looks like Tomomo will win the day out, and Saladin's going to pull back as he kills off the Zerglings with the help of a photon cannon that was warped in. What a hectic game this has become, and this is actually one of the reasons why I really like these new maps. It just tends to have some of the most exciting StarCraft 2 games, and here we have Tomomo now pushing out into the middle of the battlefield once again. He may be overextending himself here because while Hydras are great, without any decent tanking unit or something to take damage in the front, Tomomo is going to find himself out-microed and outgunned, essentially, by these Protoss forces, and now he's going to go ahead and burrow as his last respite to stay alive. So Saladin will maintain control over the middle of the field. Wow, a lot of action in this game so far. I mean, it all started, guys, with Tomomo going with a 6-pull, and then actually continuing the aggression and busting down the front wall a couple of times and getting a leak by. And of course, Saladin's still on one base. He's still trying to recover and recuperate from losing his Nexus. And like I said before, it's not a good position for Saladin because he's only on one base, which is dwindling in resources right now. These mineral fields are running pretty darn low. In fact, one of them I think has already disappeared. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 7, excuse me. So pretty close game right now. Tomomo grabbing the third at the northern side now rather than going for the one down bottom right, and the observer has come in. I'm surprised Tomomo didn't try to save those Hydras. He didn't send any forces out to try to, to save those Hydras or at least utilize them in some way or shape or form. But he ends up losing his Hydras in the middle. Saladin now pressuring once again, and this is pretty aggressive from Saladin considering, he's behind in terms of Nexus. But that's okay because he is grabbing another. And I agree with the kind of poke right there because he needed to do that in order to establish some security over this third Nexus while he gets it. But a very, very back and forth action-packed battle right now. Zerglings making their way into the Xel'Naga Tower. And Tomomo just getting a full range of view, seeing what's going on. I don't think he sees the third Nexus though, and that's pretty crucial. Although he does see the forces, so he might be able to assume at this point that yes, there is a Nexus over there. And with the Infestors he's now got on the field, I would imagine he's got an opportunity here to break that Nexus down. Not too many people realize that Infestors are a powerful unit against Protoss, especially because, Fungal is great against the Protoss forces. You can lock them down and get a flank. You can also prevent them from blinking. But the main thing about Infestors that I think is the most deadly is the Infested Terran. If you can launch a bunch of Infested Terrans out, the amount of DPS you do is quite absurd. And so Tomomo, I think, certainly has an opportunity to do something here. But the one thing not on his side is Saladin's upgrades. His upgrades right now for Saladin are at 2 weapons already, and it looks like Tomomo's been totally neglecting his upgrades this game. And that is just terrible for him. I'm not sure why he hasn't been upgraded at all, but I don't know if this is going to work for him or not now. We'll have to see. It's all going to come down to those Infestors. If he can get some good Fungals and Infested Terrans, we'll see. A couple of cannons warping in here, and those cannons are going to be crucial, but a massive Fungal growth goes down on the Protoss army. Force fields keeping the Roaches and Hydras away from the attack range of the Nexus. And I think that Saladin will be able to hold this off. Yeah, this is going to be a close one, guys. 2 more Stalkers warping in. The Infestors not choosing to to launch Infested Terrans. I really feel like if he just spat out 50 Infested Terrans right now, maybe he doesn't have energy for 50, but, you know, 20 or 30 Infested Terrans, he could have done a lot more damage here, and now as a result, he's lost almost his entire army. I don't know if that was worth it at all. He just basically traded his whole army for nothing. Wow, that's not good. At the very least, he got his Infestors out of there, but, you know, I don't agree with the Zerg. Anytime he just smashes headlong into a Protoss base and doesn't do anything, that was not good at all. And you know, he didn't even trade that cost efficiently because most of the Stalkers are still alive. So I don't know. We'll have to see. He's now grabbing a 4th hatchery now. He is ahead in supply, surprisingly. So not too bad there. But we do have Saladin teching up into the mightiest Protoss unit, which is the Colossi. And he's getting a Dark Shrine as well. So Saladin's about to get pretty tricky with it. And, you know, the combination of Colossi and Dark Templar may be too much for Tomomo to handle. We'll just have to see. It does look like Tomomo is making his way across the right side of the map. There is an access path, guys, into this Nexus here, but there's no Nexus. So really, Tomomo can just kind of run away, blink away, doesn't take any damage at all. And Saladin can blink away, and Tomomo actually I don't know if he's in the best of positions here, because Hydras are very, very slow. It's difficult to retreat with them, and if he overextends without the support of creep on the ground, then Saladin can just roast those Hydras away, especially now that he's got Colossus on the field. So I think Tomomo realizing that, deciding to fall back. I agree with him. He doesn't want to lose his forces here. And let's hope, for Tomomo's sake, that he gets a Spire pretty soon. He already has a Spire, actually, because he needs Corruptors to deal with the Colossus, and you know, maybe even Neuroparasite to deal with the Colossus as well, because he's got so many Infestors already. And it looks like he is going to go ahead and make his way to the left of the map. No, he's going to retreat. So I don't know what Tomomo's doing right now. He seems a little bit flustered, but he certainly has a huge supply advantage right now. And I'm not sure how the game went this way, because I thought Saladin was certainly holding his own, but Saladin is behind in by a good 40 or so supply right now. So Tomomo certainly has a supply advantage. We'll have to see how things unfold. And it looks like there are 4 Dark Templar in the middle of the field. Overseer goes by, Infestors go by as well, but no Fungals go down. And the Dark Templar make their way into the 4th, which was recently the 3rd. But it looks like the Dark Templar aren't even going to chance it. There's just too many Infestors there, and an Overseer as well. So those Dark Templar will get caught. Nice Infestors Fungal right there. Just catches 2 in the middle of the field. And Tomomo just doing everything he can to kind of sway the big battle in his favor. But the one thing he doesn't have going for him is no Corruptors. And I'm telling you guys, these Colossi are going to rip this Zerg army apart unless he gets a lot of Infested Terrans down or something. This is not a good engage, though. The wall is set up. The Protoss army is all backed up behind the wall. Good Fungals going down, though, and great usage of the Infested Terran here. This may be what he needs to break this Nexus down. We'll see if he can do it or not. All the Infested Terrans are now out. They do have 1/1 and upgrade, so that's going to help a little bit. And it looks like the frontal wall is going to go down, but the Nexus hasn't taken a shot, not a lick of damage yet. And Saladin will hold on at the front wall and keeps his Nexus alive. Beautiful hold right there by Saladin. Great play, and really just backing himself up into the behind his wall. And that's just showing you guys how important it is for Protoss to make sure they have the perfect architecture. If they have the right setup, the right way to kind of fall back and kind of cuddle themselves into the back of their wall, they're going to be just so hard to break down. And even though Saladin lost some of his gateways at the front, it's nothing he can't recover from. Much better than losing his Nexus. So great play right there by Saladin to hold on. He's now going to go ahead and liberally expand to the 9 o'clock location. But Tomomo, with that battle, did get the intelligence he needed. He knows now Colossus are on the field, so immediately what does he do? He makes about 10 or so Corruptors. That's actually 8, with 2 more on the way. So he's going to have 10 Corruptors. So his army pretty well composed here, I think, to deal with Colossus. He may want to get some more Roaches or Hydras, or at least Roaches on the ground. Maybe Zerglings or something, because he doesn't have that big of a ground army. And he's not actually expanding, which I think is going to put him behind. Of course, in a Zerg versus Protoss game, it's so important for Zerg to continually expand and stay 1-up on the Protoss. And right now we have a 4-base versus 4-base affair. Doesn't bode too well for LoveTomomo. We'll see what happens. So 5 more Corruptors hitting the field. He's going to have 15 Corruptors. So, you know, those Colossus aren't going to stand much of a chance. But what about the ground army? I still feel like Tomomo doesn't have enough maybe Zerglings or something on the ground to deal with that Stalker Ball, which just finished plus 3 weapons. So they're doing 13 damage and 17 to armored. And of course it can still blink away as well. Very difficult for Zerg to deal with that. And we'll see what happens here. Observer spotting the high ground does go down to the Overseer Corruptor combo. And a Guardian Shield hits the ground as well. That's going to help the Colossus against the Corruptors in a major way. Fungal's getting thrown out. Good Fungals! Look at the entire Protoss army getting fungaled to death, but all the Roaches and Hydras have been roasted while the Colossus were still alive. And now there's, I don't know if Tomomo's got enough on the ground. Yes, he will have enough. His reinforcements hitting the field, and that pushes the Protoss ball back. Good play right there by LoveTomomo, and he holds the third, or excuse me, holds the fourth. But he's not grabbing a 5th hatchery, which I think is a mistake. While he can stay on 4 bases for a very long time, I still feel like you gotta stay 1-up on the Protoss. And he has a perfect intelligence to know that he is not 1-up on the Protoss right now because he has a Changeling here. Of course, that's the spy for the Zerg forces coming out of the Overseer. We'll see. I think he should definitely bust that down and punish the Protoss right now. And yeah, there we are. 5 Broodlords about to morph out of their cocoons. And another hatchery now going down. This is actually kind of an interesting spot for a hatchery because he gets the gold benefit, yes, but he expands just a doorstep away from the Protoss 4. And, you know, as a Zerg, typically you never want to expand towards the Protoss, but I think in this situation it's okay because he's got so many Broodlords, and it almost looks like he can just roll this frontal door right now. Not much that Saladin can do. Trying to desperately get a Stargate out right now and to get some Void Rays out, but it's not going to be in time. And now the Broodlord's starting to hit that front wall down. We do have some Zealots making their way through the back, but the Spore Spine combo should be able to hold that off. And I think that Saladin is in a bit of trouble now. He just doesn't have anything to deal with the Broodlords. Of course, even if Void Rays and Phoenix come out, God forbid, Infestors can deal with that pretty easily. So this is going to be the coup de grace, I guess. We'll see if Saladin can hold on or not. Broodlings continuing to pound their way through. They've now broken through into the probe line. And the Protoss army forced to abandon. No, they will actually blink forward into the Broodlords here, getting a couple of good snipes, but now the Infestors go to work. Good Fungals, locking the Stalkers in place, and now the Zerglings can eat them up for breakfast. And Tomomo finishes it off, and Saladin just leaves the game, not even a GG. So there it is, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. And like I said before, anytime I get my opportunity, I guess you could say, to cast some of these sweet games from the new maps in the Mapmaker tournament that IPL is hosting, I'm going to take that opportunity and bring it to you guys on YouTube. Hopefully you guys haven't seen this game yet. I actually cast some of the games from this tournament, but not all of them. This one in particular I did cast, but it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago, so it's pretty much refreshed in my mind, so to say. But I hope you guys enjoyed this broadcast, and I'm going to cast a couple more games from the Mapmaker tournament because I just feel like some of these new maps are so cool and interesting. If you guys want to check it out, the maps that is, you guys can go to Battle.net and just type in IPL on the search bar, and you guys will see all the new maps, and that can be opened up because all the maps have the prefix IPL in them. So pretty easy to find. Hope you guys enjoyed this cast. I'm going to go ahead and bring some more Mapmaker tournament games for you guys, and then maybe some other series as well from outside of IPL. We'll have to see. I also want to bring you guys a set of games from Dota 2, or at least one game. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And this will be it for me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. HD signing out.